What's up, y'all? Today's tutorial, I'm going to talk a little bit about making vocal flourishes. What do I mean by that? Let me show you. And so to solo these out and show exactly what I mean here, so I've made a snap heap rack, and I'm just going to give the patch away at the end so I don't have to go over it completely all together. But I'll just solo the vocal out here. It's break-ins, 5G, and just pay attention to when these knobs turn up here, when these little automation clips run. It's going to do some interesting stuff, so play it from the start real quick, and this is just the vocal soloed out.
Oh, don't be my crush when you sick and gory. Got that radio like Sidechain for purgatory. Heard the story, I've been wearing a demon. Barely been eating, scrolling on nights. I can't get the grieving. Don't be my crush when you sick and gory. Got that radio like Sidechain for purgatory. I'm not never gonna use your love, I can feel supported. Got this feeling in my chest every morning. Hate the source.
And I just want to note before I start on this that the way that I set this to work is every time there's a nice little breath in the synths up top, I'll get rid of the drums and all that. That's when I'm bringing in these like little interesting pieces. So if we like see, this is where that piece happens right there. Go up here, there's a gap. Same thing here, except there's no spacing in the vocal. Go up here, there's a gap. And then same thing with these 4 hits. They're each at the end of all these bars. And there's another one at the end of this to like signify the end of the thing. Space, 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 a little bit of space. So just to show, it's like it's giving the effects thing some space to breathe. And it's turned off. Let me turn it back on real quick. And then to show you real quick that's right here, I have like a little effects trill that goes on this. That's all samples out the Dariacore pack that I'm gonna put out in about 2 weeks now. It's finished pretty much. And as you can see, I just hawk it, and I know I haven't showed the patch yet, but I'm just kind of trying to give you the idea of what you can do with this patch. I'm just hocketing between the different little settings that I have here. So let's go ahead and jump into the Snap Heap preset. And it looks more complicated than it is. Basically, the way that this works is I have this first setting here, and as you can see, it just turns up all these knobs. So what are these knobs doing? Basically, it's turning on a delay, a pitch shifter with the compensation turned off, as you can see when it's on. The latency gets pretty high, that's 21 milliseconds, that's longer than I like, and I'll show you what that does to the effect. Just listen to the sidechain and how loose it gets now, or how messed up it gets. You see how there's the little gaps before the snares and stuff hit. If you turn it to 0, which for these little effects twiddles, it's beneficial to, I think, keep it at 0 just so you can kind of work on your project. You can change that if you're gonna like render it though. Cleans that up. So I'm basically just sending with my first little spray here. It's kind of, they're all like kind of spray type effects, almost like a granular delay. That's the first one. So it's basically just sending up a delay that gets pitch shifted up halfway. So when the knob's all the way up, it goes to the halfway point. There's a bit crusher that kind of crunches it, and then it goes to a trance gate that's just 1, 2, 3, 4 really quick hits. So I'll play it with the patch open now so you can kind of see. So it just sends it really quickly through there. The second one's dead simple, the delaser. And it's just a 16th delay, which is pretty quick, and you'll hear how that goes here. See, it just turns the feedback up and turns the mix up, and doesn't even duck or anything like that. You could do that, but it's going to get rid of the kind of like taking over the vocal effect that it has. See, it goes more in the background there. I don't want that. I want it to like take over the vocal, and also I'm running it through compression afterwards, so this stomps that little peak that comes in right there down. Next we have the I'm part. We go I'm, ah, and night, and that's just to signify these 3 little. Well, it's the Y here, but I'll explain what these pieces are in a second. Basically we have the I'm is just a bit crusher. Let me turn off my this layer real quick. I hope I'm not going too quickly for this one, but right, just bit crushes it. The next one is the ah. Turns on a chorus and a phase distortion. and cuts that low out. I don't know if that's super necessary. And then the night part.
Barely been eating, scrolling on nights, why I can't get the
And the night is the most dumb stuff. I don't think this was kind of just one I had to tune in here. It sends it through a resonator. Let's play it with the night on the whole time and just see if this is even useful with it like this. So oops, turn this onto here. And just see if this does good things. It's probably not.
barely been eating, scrolling on nights, why
Right, as you can see, it's just kind of like a different space. It's kind of like a texturized version of it, and most of that comes from the ring mod being a sine oscillator,
barely been eating,
right? But its mix is not all the way up,
barely been eating,
so that is probably adding some spread to it, some
barely been eating,
right that compared to.
barely been eating,
Well, it still does that. That's mostly from the convolver, I think. So it's got a little bit of convolution. It's just a messiness. Oh no, it's the Haas delay. I have a Haas on there. If I turn the Haas off,
barely been eating,
right, and then there's the ring mod,
barely been eating,
right? So that's what makes it like that. So just three basically different rooms or different spaces for this vocal to kind of blitz through real quick. And then the last one is the
can't get the grief.
Baby Don't Be My BDBM. And it is a comb filter with some stereo imaging and a very fast 30-second delay with some ducking on this one. And when it's all the way up, the mix, where's the mix at? Oh, I've done something interesting with the last piece. So I wanted it to kind of bump in and bump out here. So I have an LFO that modulates my mix knob here. And when I turn this on, instead of turning my mixes on, so like for this one, it sets the mix for the entire channel. These are all serial buses. So like the signal is going through all of this. But only the effects only get turned on when, like for this one, it's turning my mixes on and my down. This one's turning the mix on. This is turning the delay and the amp on. This one's turning all these effects on. So since these are all off, it's only processing this particular channel's worth of effects when that's on. Same thing with this one. I could have done these with the mix knobs, but that's just how it turned out on those. So then this LFO is kind of bumping, as you can see here. The rate of it really only affects this piece right here because it's the first half is muted, and I'll show that one more time real quick. In this here, this piece is muted out, so nothing's happening there, and then it goes from 50% up to like 100%, as you can see. And then if I play this, you'll kind of get an idea again. And yeah, so that's how that works. Then lastly, just kind of hocketing through these here. This is kind of what you can do when you have a rack or a effects chain like this. Right? So that's pretty much what that's useful for. I'll just, since I've shown all that, I'll go ahead and show what this channel is here. And this is just a copy of the vocal. And why did I make a copy of the vocal? Well, I'll explain that because there's a decent reason. Because I have a really distorted, messed up vocal here. And so what I did here was just take this. I remember in particular what I used on this was a effect called, it's a really nice one called Bitspeak. It's like $30. I would say probably don't buy this if you don't have it. It's cool as hell. It's worth the money, I'd say. It's the coolest bit crushy like sample rate weirdness knob thing. So you just get instantly cool textures or tones. If you already have though, not pitch map, what's it called? If you already have this, which is a much more expensive plugin, I'd say this does a worse job, but you can get the job done with the vocal synth too as well. Right, if you were to mess with these, another thing you could do is just make your own version of Bitspeak by doing like weird vocoding, so you don't even need to have Vocodex. I would do like vocoding and probably bit crushing, so we'll get a cheap little bit crusher on here. Kilohertz bit crush. Right, so something like that, and then like mess with the bands. I'm not gonna make one of these, but I'm just kind of trying to give you an idea of how you might do this. Right, something like that. Maybe switch the order. And if you want some like crushedness, put the bits down. Right, so you do that to get that type of effect. So what I did was that rendered it to audio, then I have a separate channel of just that. I pitched it down using the mono algorithm, which tends to get another crunchiness out of it, and send it through some more distortion and stuff. So let me play it without. That's my like little raspy vocal, pitched it down. And then added distortion. Then send it through EQing to cut the. And then some limiting to really. Like by having really hard, fast compression on it, that's not limiting that's happening, it's actually compression there. By doing a really short attack and a short release, you basically get another distortion on it. And then all I used this for was anytime that I felt like there was like emphasis that I could add. Right, I'm sending it under and through there. And you could probably cut a little more of this vocal out. Right. That's actually way better, I think. And then did the same thing here. But again, you could like have one sidechain the other one. So this one, bring the other one's volume down by doing a limiter on here. I'm kind of going freeform with this one. I've never really done a tutorial this quickly before. Oh, I need to unmute this. Yeah, it's unmuted. Okay. Yeah, that's actually kind of cool. So as you can see, I routed this into here, turned the volume off, and then I can kind of. But that kind of gets rid of the little room that I've created there with these. So. And they kind of blend well together. So let me turn the limiter back on, and the snap heap. Right, so that's just basically how I did that, and so that's going to do it for this one, y'all. In case you're interested in this track, I haven't released it yet, but it will be out at some point soon on the Rips Dance Club, Dariacore, whatever side project thing I have, link in the description. The patch will also be the first link in the description for the snap heap, and then, yeah, if you like these sounds, some of these sweet sounds like these right here, cool stuff. That's all from the Dariacore sample pack. So that is gonna probably be out in the next 2 weeks or so, and yeah, 2 weeks for sure. I'm trying to set a deadline because the pack's getting rather large with all the adding of shit I'm doing to it. So yeah, I'm gonna sell it for like $15 on Gumroad, but it will be $3 if you join the Patreon. I'll start that up as soon as I put the pack out. So thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next one.